And welcome everybody to another awesome Saturday night to discuss some Last of Us TV stuff. So I just want to thank everybody for hanging out with us tonight and joining the conversation. And as always, a big hello and welcome to my bestie, my lifesaver, my screenshot taker of the week. I love you, Scarlet. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to dive into the episode. And as always, Ada, no worries. I got you. We wouldn't get through this if we didn't do it together. You've held it for
You're
me,
so
and
right.
I'll hold it for you. We'll get through it together. And then now we got
You
James
were very
too.
right. I know. Now we hooked him, we sank him. He's stuck with us now. He's not
Right?
going anywhere.
James sure didn't leave. We tried a few times.
Mwahaha, mwahaha. You're stuck with us now. What's up, James?
What's up? What's up, everybody in the chat? What's up, Jen, the teacher, and Dana and Scarlet? Looking forward to talking about this one. And I know Dana mentioned bad reviews, so I'm anxious to hear that angle and dive into the like Joel's death to me was emotional, but to me the aftermath was more emotional. That type
Yeah.
of story. So and you got to have a slower, if you want to call it that, episode after the fast one. So I expected it not to be just, oh my gosh. I thought it was good myself.
Oh
I did
yeah.
too. I personally didn't find anything wrong with this episode. I understood the need for it. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, filler," and people. It was wild out there and I typically don't. I typically try to stay away from reviews or thoughts when we're covering a TV show because I do want to have my own when it comes to what we're trying to discuss. But I like the heat in my timeline was just, you know, it was just destroying this show this week. And I think it's mostly coming from a lot of people who don't know the source material. And I don't think they're understanding poor. Yes, there's a couple of things that, when I heard them, I understood why they might have grievances. Because like you say, Scarlet, when it comes to video games, like what they did with Master Chief, I certainly get certain aspects of it, but I feel like we haven't seen enough of the show to be so worried yet.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what a lot of people are having issues with this week is Tommy's role in what's going on. In the video game, Tommy plays, that's Joel's brother. He plays a big role in Ellie's kind of revenge plot. He is kind of he's there with her through a lot of it. Yes, her girlfriend is there for some of it, but Tommy really plays this intricate role in it, and everybody is in uproar that why Tommy isn't doing more. And I'm just like, we
Well,
haven't seen enough yet.
I was going to ask a question on that then. So what do you mean
Sure.
by that? Was he supposed to go off with her, or?
Yes, he
Yeah,
technically goes off
Oh,
before.
okay. I can see
but
where. All
he
right. So
was also with
yeah.
Joel in the game. He was also with Joel and got knocked out by the
Oh,
gang
okay. Yeah, I
instead
can
of the
see
girl.
where they're getting. Okay, I see where
So
they're mad, and I get it a
he
little
had a
bit there.
bigger overall role in
Yeah,
all of
and
that.
they're taking it and sort of, and I could see where they're coming from with it, Dana, because they're making this storyline between these two more prominent.
Yeah,
Not to
stand
say
out
that
more.
that there's not
Yeah.
a moment here, or that I care one way or another that there's a lesbian couple. Like that's already in the game. That's fine. I don't care one
No,
way or the
because
other.
it is established
But
and they do have this time in the game. There is
that's
a
fine.
time
But
to where they go off,
And
but they're giving her
faster,
basically the entire role.
yeah, it's faster in the game, a little bit even. Like
yeah, it
they're in
seems
their
like they're really
underwear.
playing their relationship.
Yeah, they're
They're
in
kind
the
of probably
yeah,
sidelining characters.
by the weed uh place where she finds the weed. It's her and the girl, and they're already kind of together at that point. It seems, if I remember right. So they changed a few things, but I don't mind it myself. I mean, I think it just adds makes a little bit of a change to where, okay, it's a little different. Where will they go with part of this? You know, it gives a little mystery to it.
So who's upset? Is it the people who play the
On
game,
episode
or
3.
is it the people who have not had the source material that are upset?
It's a little bit of both, because it's like the gamers are upset of what they did with Tommy, and the
Mm-hmm.
people who are not the gamers are upset that Joel is dead. Like, oh, how could you do this so soon? You could have given us a few more episodes. What's going to happen with the chemistry? The actress who plays
Okay.
Ellie can't handle this role on her own. Like, really feeding into, like, this was supposed to be about Joel. This is not about Joel. He was, yes, a one of the characters in the game, but the story is based around Ellie. This is
Right.
her story.
But
And
I can see where like
for
the gamers are a little frustrated with if that is how Tommy's storyline is supposed to go, and he's supposed to sort of have these moments with Ellie, because they hit on it a little bit in the episode, but they don't. If they're supposed to explore that more, then I kind of get it, because they kind of hinted on it, and I was like, why did he not go with her? Because I kind of felt like, I was like, why the fuck is he staying behind? Out of all the people, like, you know, they let this dude kind of take that role, and he even was saying, you know, I would go with you if I wasn't injured. So I'm like, none of you guys went off with these two. I thought it was a little weird, but now knowing Tommy's supposed to go, I kind of see where they're coming from, because that is a miss in the sense that, because they were already building Tommy and Ellie in this episode with Joel and that sort of relationship, on how he was saying, you know, I'm his brother, and she's being all popping off and stuff, or Ellie was popping off and everything. So they, and how he sort of had to take Ellie under his wing. He was real concerned about her, sort of taking that father role, and then they just sort of like they've disbanded. So I kind of see where a little bit of that frustration is, if it's supposed to be in the game.
Unless it's
that's
like
what
Dana says, and you just, maybe we need to wait on it. Like the way they needed to write the story for the TV show is send them ahead, but Tommy's going to enter, you know, the picture maybe. If he doesn't end up going after them, then, you know, ultimately, then maybe say a little something, depending on how they write the rest of the story. But
exactly.
I mean, it does seem they're kind of veering from that, but I'm with Dana, you know, let's wait and see before we, you know, throw too much judgment at it at this point.
But I could see where they're coming. I could see the concern, especially knowing how the shows do when it comes, especially video games. I can't speak for everything, but I know with the video games, they're really bad about that. So, well, I'll wait and see. I reserve judgment, but if that's, it's a little sketchy when you see the way this episode plays out, in particular with these two, and how they're really playing up this relationship, almost like it overshadows some of the other aspects.
Right.
Yes. And people are also like a little upset about that, because they think they did this relationship just because of the times we're in. And it's like, I've told people, I'm like, this game was done years ago. And this
it's big. It's big in the game.
Yes, like it is part of the game. So they didn't do this just to do this. Because I don't like that myself. I don't think you have to do stuff just to check a box. But here they actually didn't. This is from the game. Ellie is gay in the video games. She has a relationship with this girl. Like, that is
that's
part of
fine.
the
That's what I said.
story.
That's not the problem. But if they're trying to overemphasize it to make it centerpiece, as opposed to what the characters are supposed to be in, like with Tommy, right? Like if you're center focused on their relationship and you're sidelining characters in order to make that relationship stand out bigger, then that kind of sucks.
Yeah, but like, we just have to wait and see. Is Tommy going to stay behind? And is there a reason? Is there another part of the story that at Jackson or something that requires, hey, let's do this in the show, and it makes sense in the long run? Maybe. But I see where you come from also, Scarlet, that, you know, people can start jumping to those conclusions, because it does seem that way, because I can see both sides as well.
Yes,
but I do see video.
I like the episode, like, not knowing it, I didn't think it was a horrible episode. I mean, I questioned Tommy and why he didn't go off with him, but I didn't question enough to where I thought it was like sidelined from the game, because I hadn't played the games.
Right.
Oh God. It's such a it's a double-edged sword they're playing with right there, man. They gotta be careful with that because if you stray from, especially if Tommy is such a big character and they stray from that, that's the criticism. Because I pointed it out right away. I'm like, okay, they're centerfolding this, and that's what the criticism is.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And that's they got to be careful with it because if I could see it, then and if they don't, if he doesn't catch up in the next 2 episodes, that's not going to be good. Then
right. And in the game, if I'm not mistaken, they come upon him. I don't know if he initially like rides alongside them. I can't remember.
Correct.
But
he's already out looking for Abby at this point. And then they kind of run into each other. Tommy kind of tells them, okay, this is what I know. This is what I found. I've been on her heels. This is where they are. And then they go together to seek their revenge.
Yeah. And I can see that if they had to put Tommy with Joel, I can see for the TV show why they left Tommy at Jackson, because he was a huge part of saving the town, and they needed that, I guess, as well.
And that's why he didn't go out, because he wasn't there, and she withheld the information. So was she there originally when Joel dies? Again, that's where they're playing into it. Whether people are right or wrong or speculating, that change right there, those two characters right there, the way they're changing out their roles is questionable.
Yeah, but if they just did it in that one scene, the death scene, and Tommy is out there ahead of them, like in the game, and they come across him.
Yes, because the attack that does happen on the town, Joel is present for. That is a part in the game. Like there is a part in the game where the infected come and try to take over the town, or it might have been raiders. I'm not sure, but there is an onslaught on the town, on where they live. But Joel is present there along with Ellie. So they changed that as well. But again, I'm not horribly disappointed yet. Like I'm still kind of on the fence to where I get the changes. I just hope that they don't toss Tommy aside, because then I'm going to say I get why everybody's pissed off. Because he still does play such a big role. But we have moments coming up that I'm hopeful that he's going to be present for, because he's going to change his mind maybe and then say like I shouldn't have left. Once he finds out that they left, I think he might bring him out. Because he doesn't know that they left. The other guy helped them sneak out to go do this, and I have a feeling that once Tommy finds out, he's going to go after them.
Yeah, that seems like how it's playing out. Instead of him being ahead of them.
That's how I'm taking it for right now. That's how I'm reading it.
Yeah, and they did make a big deal even in the first season. Joel sitting there telling Tommy about stuff, saying, you need to take her. Something happens to me. You need to take care of her. So he already laid that burden of, you're going to become the dad if something happens to me. So just get ready, brother.
Yes. And the other thing that pissed off a lot of the gamers is what they did with the Seraphites. The group that we see walking and doing the whistling, there's a whole big build up to that happens in the video game. Like we discover them out of like nowhere. They kind of just threw them into like the story right now. So gamers are like, that's not how we're introduced to them. Like we're introduced to them in such a good way in the video game that gamers were also pissed off about that. So it's like you had both sides of the fence, it's seeming like, complaining this week. You had the people who knew nothing about the video games complaining that they killed off Joel, and you have the video game people complaining that they're going too far off of the source material.
Those damn gamers, right? Am I right, Scarlet? Am I right?
Well, I mean, like, I wondered about this group too, though, because they did just kind of throw them in here, and I figured and I was like, okay, so they're getting to some, I was going to assume a religious type group. We've seen sort of the other groups, right? We've seen sort of the what's left of the government kind of style of leadership. We've seen sort of just the lone survivors. We've seen all these different kind of factions, but we haven't really seen the kind of religious side of the apocalypse.
And that's
so
what these
yeah,
guys
I was
are.
curious what they were going to do with this because I didn't know. I was like, yeah, they just kind of threw them in without any real context. So I mean, I reserve judgment. We'll wait and see. I mean, but like I said, the episode wasn't bad as far as like pulling at the heartstrings. This episode was big on pulling at the heartstrings.
Yes, especially when Tommy in that opening scene when he was like, "Tell Sarah I love her," like, or send
that was
Sarah
good.
my love, like that. I was just like emotional over that because I felt, and then when Ellie kind of stood up in the hospital and just started screaming, like she's reliving everything in that moment, and she's finally able to like let all of that emotion out because Ellie is very she's 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 not an emotional character. Like she's very by herself. Joel was the only person she connected with in a very long time and who protected her and kept her safe and cared about her. And so like I said, I don't know what they're trying to do yet. I don't think we have enough of the TV show to say one way or the other, and that's an assessment I really want to make when maybe we get to the finale, like, and see how this whole season plays out before we're sitting here saying, oh, it sucked. So I'm still towing the line of I'm willing to give them a chance, but they're saying the viewership has completely tanked. So I don't know where this show is going to stand come the end of the season. And they're saying viewership left because Joel is not in it anymore. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and I get
I
that from like a
personally,
TV standpoint because they built Joel up so much. But
mhm,
anybody watching, I mean, I knew Ellie was the center. I didn't know that Joel was going to be killed off so soon, but I knew it was about her in the end. Like she's the end game.
mhm,
But they had already done that to us in the beginning, where we kind of started getting with a character, and then they kind of killed off the little girl. So I was like, all right, that let me know that in a way that anybody could die off. So Joel dying doesn't kill it for me. That wouldn't, but I mean, TV standpoint, I guess I see if maybe some people, because they got really attached to Joel. And he was such a character that had so much depth to him.
yeah.
It's hard to
So
lose
that
main
like,
characters
yeah,
on
But
TV.
see, that's where Tommy was supposed to fill in, though, right?
Yeah.
correct.
And they've kind of pushed him to the side, which doesn't. So that void hasn't been filled appropriately.
Yeah.
Yes, and they're filling it with their relationship. And unfortunately, in the times we're in, where people are just getting annoyed with that sort of stuff,
Well,
like,
to me, it's not even just annoyed with it. Like, I'm annoyed with it, but not because it's a relationship. I'm annoyed with it because if you're pushing a character who has a high value in the story, and you're pushing it doesn't matter if it's a male or female character. If you're pushing that character's like whole storyline to the side to embiggen a relationship, doesn't matter if it's a lesbian relationship, a gay relationship, a heterosexual, any relationship, right? Like,
exactly.
that's fucked up. Like, because then
Yeah.
you are sidelining characters. That's not cool.
Yeah.
Now, to have that relationship in there, I could care less. I mean, that's part of life. We're gonna have that all the time. That doesn't matter.
Maybe that's not it though. Maybe like Dana was saying, things didn't happen in the same time frame as it did in the show. They made the attack happen at the same time. He was watching it out the window. That wasn't what happened in the game.
Mhm.
Those were two different time frames. So, they changed things up. Time frames changed. And so hopefully it was just they needed Tommy at the town. So they put the girl with Joel in his death scene, and it just played out like that because they needed to distribute the characters. And they definitely wanted Dina to be safe in that sense, as far as not in danger in town and those kind of things, maybe. So maybe it's just a writing thing, and it will come back out in the next episode or two that, hey, they swapped those scenes, and that's something that's already there. But going forward into the future, he does go after them and still play a huge role, like he should like he did in the game.
Exactly. And again, it's like we have to consider that this is an adaptation that is showing you the game in what would be considered real time. So I
Mhm.
understood giving us a 3-month time jump. Like they'd be fixing their town.
Yeah.
Ellie's really fucked up from what happened. Like she has to heal. It's not a video game. Like there is no, oh, you die, you respawn back, at your last save point. Like they still have to make it
Mhm.
adjust to a live action setting. So we had to see Ellie heal. We had to see them somewhat fixing the town and what that looked like. So again, I didn't mind, like people were also bitching that what did we need that council scene for? That's all a waste of time. In the video game, boom, next scene, she's in Seattle. Well, come on, guys. Like this is a live
Well,
action adaptation.
because again, it
They
goes back to the
you have
Tommy
to,
situation, right? Would Tommy have
yeah,
gone through with that? Because he's the one that said they have to do the council situation.
yes,
If he was on board
correct.
for just going off, then that scene would have never happened to begin with. That's where it gets. Well, now we're talking like difference between gameplay for the game itself and then what the show's going to do, and it kind of muddies the waters a little bit because
Hmm.
they have kind of flipped the characters and they're having to rewrite in order to, I guess, get the characters where they need to be. So they have to be careful with that. Again, if they can't get Tommy where he needs to be, then it is going to be a detriment for the rest of the season.
Yeah, yeah. If, like they were saying, if he doesn't, because he knows now that they left, go after them. Even his wife, have a scene where his wife goes, "You have to. I've got it here.
Yes,
We've got the guys. We've got. We're doing this, this, and this. Go. Save them or help them or whatever you got to do." If that doesn't happen, yeah, it does seem like the writings went awry.
And
But
Fletcher, I think people got pretty mad, especially when it got Game of Thrones got past the books. I think a lot of people weren't too appreciative of the
yes,
show. So, I mean, to dick on the source fans of whatever the material is, whether it's a TV show or a video game, always does bad. Halo did not do good because of that, and most adaptations do not. Because your core fans are the ones, or the reason you're putting it out to begin with. You wouldn't be putting out a TV show,
correct.
a movie, or whatever adaptation to a book or whatever if you didn't have the fan base that backed it in the first place.
Correct. The
But
Wheel of
welcome,
Time is going
Fletcher.
through
I just
it.
want to welcome. We got
Welcome,
Great Gold
Fletch.
hanging. Dark Elf is with us, of course. Jen, the teacher. I don't know if we said hello to everybody. Miss Vic's hanging out with us. We got Debbie.
what's up,
All you
Debbie?
guys.
What's up, Vic?
Sorry, I
What's
And
know
up,
yes,
Dark Elf?
we're
I
rambling
saw I
through.
saw Vic. Yes, I was supposed to stream on Thursday, but unfortunately, due to my mom's surgery and she had to stay an extra night in the hospital, I had to push it again this week to Saturday night. But we will be back to Thursday nights for the hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, throw some salt. We will be back to our Thursday night reviews starting this week. So that's why we're back here on Saturday night for this week.
So, do you
But
guys
yeah,
think
it's like
the game crowd gamers say it's going to a movie or to a TV show, it's got to be exact, and if it's not
No.
exact,
I mean, there's
it's
little
off.
changes, like
Like,
even with this one, them not doing the spores, right?
right.
I could understand that. And that's somebody who does the games. I haven't played this game, but just someone who does like the adaptations. I could understand a little bit of stuff like that. I could understand them doing little conversational things maybe they took out. Some scenes maybe taken out because there's not time for it. Or maybe even adding something like this, like an episode where you're kind of just showing the everyday life a little bit more than maybe what's in the game. But when you to me, it's more about when you completely change a character's either their arc, their kind of storyline, and where they're supposed to be going, or what is the kind of core essence of that character. That's when I'm upset about it.
Right.
Because then what? I mean, it's not. You're saying, yeah, it's an adaptation, but at the same time, it's like, well, then just do. Why are you even putting the name of that on it? Because now it's no longer the core and essence of what it was supposed to be. Then, well, what am I watching? I'm not really watching Halo. I'm not really watching The Last of Us. I'm watching another zombie TV show that just happens to be
kind
in the
of based
vein of
kind
it.
of based on it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, sometimes
Exactly.
there is a scale. Some go way off. Some just change a couple little things. There's definitely like the World War Z. It's like, what the hell? I actually didn't watch a trailer or too much of that. And when I went to the theater, I was like thinking book. And I was like, what the hell am I watching? So sometimes it's really bad.
It's hard because, like I was saying before, there's a lot of fan bases right now having this problem. You have the people like Miguel with the Wheel of Time. That's another one going off the rail. You have the people with Lord of the Rings. People are upset about where they went with that. We dealt with it with The Walking Dead, James. I
Yep.
mean, especially me. Like there was points to where, and eventually I just was like, I'm done. I'm done. Like you get to points to where I would understand simple changes. Like I was cool with Daryl. There you go. There's your, Neo. He has nothing to do with the friggin' series, so do what you want with him. Let him be where you go crazy and add whatever you're
Yeah.
gonna add. But then they go and they destroy certain stuff that, like, you can't understand sometimes. So it's like I feel for the gamers who are upset, and I feel for the people who don't know anything about the game who are upset. But it's like we can't just judge on that. Like let's
Right.
let the season play out. Like let's see where they go. Let's see where they go and give it a chance, and then we can come back at the end of the season and be like, okay, this really went off the rails.
Right.
Or because we don't know what they're going to have in
Right.
store for
Right.
us for the rest of the season. This is just episode 3.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And again,
So
like
what
even with Fallout, I'm not sure, Fletcher. I know I liked Fallout the TV show. I haven't played the games yet, but they are on Game Pass, so I'm looking to actually get those and play through and see. My understanding Fallout wasn't bad as far as from the game aspect, but I don't know for a fact. I did like the show, so I'm kind of waiting to play the games to really see.
Yeah, no, I like there's only 4 episodes left, but we don't know what's going to be packed into those 4 episodes yet. Like we don't know where they're going. Because in this adaptation, like we understood, Tommy stood the way they set it up. Tommy was needed at the town, and he's a bigger figure in the town than he was in the video game. So I understand why he's there helping rebuild, helping doing stuff, and hopefully they're setting it up to where once he finds out they're gone is when his wife comes in, is like, go, you have to go and make sure that that they survive this. But we just don't know yet. So it's like I understand everybody's grievances, but then I don't at the same time, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because I think they've given enough of the adaptation that we've seen in this show compared to a lot of other fuckery we've seen in other shows. Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, look, like those are franchises that destroyed their source materials. I don't think they've destroyed theirs yet.
Right.
They're like on the fence. They're on the cuff right now. So it depends where they go. And I think by the end of the season, we'll be able to say whether, okay, this totally fucking just kicked the bucket.
Right.
Or they might actually be able to still bring in certain points that Tommy plays in. We haven't gotten there yet, so we don't know.
Yep. So what do you think about, like, I don't think this show is like that. It's supposed to be the game story, but for The Walking Dead, for an example, they say, well, that's a different universe. So there's a lot of changes. It's kind of the same thing, but not, and you treat it like a different universe. What do you think about that aspect of
I'd be
storytelling?
cool with that. But Walking Dead threw that at us when we were like 3 seasons in and shit was already fucked up.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah, you
kind
should
of,
say
I
that,
feel
have
like
that
they,
established like in the first season. Otherwise, it sounds like a cop out.
Yeah, 3 showrunners later and a bunch of lawsuits. They're like, well, it's a different universe.
Exactly. Like it's like they tried to cover up their mess with it's loosely based. Well, when Kirkman was at the award show first talking about this show, because I remember it like it was yesterday when he announced The Walking Dead, and you got that first episode was Days Gone By.
Hmm.
Like you could literally hold up that comic book and watch that first episode and flip the pages.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
mind you, give or take a few little changes, but you could literally sit there, watch the show, and flip through the pages of the comic books and be like, "Holy shit, there it is."
Yeah.
And then it was like, then they started throwing things at you because showrunners started to get upset. Actors who were friends with the writers didn't want to do things anymore, and now you got to kill off other characters because there's no point because this character got killed off, and it was just like this domino effect of bullshit.
Hmm.
And then they come out, oh, we're a different universe. No, you guys just fucked it up. Like, let's be real. You guys just fucked it up, and now you're trying to fix what you broke.
Yep.
So I don't know. Like I want to get through the season, and then I'm gonna like have finally like, okay, yeah, this was this was for shit. But they still have a chance. This show still has a chance. Because again, like you guys, I didn't mind this episode. I didn't think it was filler. I thought it was setup more than filler. Like they're setting us up to her getting to Seattle. But I did not like what they did with the Seraphites. Like that definitely was just thrown in there just to throw them in there and give like a video game nod because I have a hard feeling that they're going to be fucked up. This story is what's going to get fucked up because how Ellie comes across them is so different than this. So I don't know because that's the big. It's the Seraphites against the wolves. They are at war, and the wolves want to get rid of these people because of how they think and how they believe, and their religious kind of aspect. And that is kind of what Ellie uncovers throughout her journey to find Abby. So I don't know what they're going to do with the Seraphites, but they play a much
Mm-hmm.
bigger role in the video game.
And it kind of plays into what I think Jen was saying earlier, where they kind of rushed through. Once they start on the road, all of this seems like it's a rush. Like all of this was stuff that seemed like was possibly in the game, but in order to get them to Seattle, like it's like they were trying to pack in all of these little game moments at the end of the episode. But I haven't played the game, so I don't know that for a fact. But it just felt that way.
Yeah.
Because it was the end of the episode was I don't know if it was rushed, but it was weird because they just kind of was like showed all these different play like they're just traveling, we're traveling, and then we're here, and all of a sudden, oh shit. It's like okay, and then we're here at Seattle next. Like it was a weird little transition in between things, and then of course they're just kind of showing off the two factions at the end. As we get the wolves in all their full glory.
Yes, because the wolves they are the army. They are what's left of what we would consider military in their world. And the Seraphites are the religious side to the coin. They believe in
Mm-hmm.
a prophecy and a prophet and all this other stuff. And for years they have been battling with the wolves. Like the wolves basically want to eradicate them.
Right. And you would have to pick that up to know any of that. If you hadn't played the game, you have to pick up on that quick conversation that the guy has with the little girl as they're right before they get attacked and stuff. They're talking about the prophet and what she means and how there's multiple prophets and how, how their beliefs are actually kind of upheld. Talk about the hammer, and then when they're freaking out, scared, she's like, is it demons? No, it's wolves. So that's like the only connection that we get. And then the end, we see the wolves, and of course they're talking about that faction because they were a faction, according to what they said in the episode. They're a faction of fireflies, right?
The
They
wolves.
were when the fireflies died off, the wolves is what came to be.
That's what I'm saying. They were kind of like because they were the way they talked about it in the episode was as if they were kind of established during the fireflies, but but they were not like a major group, and then
Correct.
they kind of really formed after.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I said, I'm not sure. They didn't really. They gave us a little bit. They didn't give us much.
Ain't it weird? They did the part of that religious group. They're doing the Joker cuts on all their faces, even the little girl. All of them had the scars. It looks like it was an actual scar, like Joker smile.
Yes. I don't know if that is in the game. I don't, because like I said, it was years ago when I really watched the story when it came to the video game. And I think once the season's done, I might actually go back and do a rewatch of that. But it was just they threw them in there and gave them no. I just didn't like it. This is one thing that I could say I didn't like. I didn't like how they just threw them kind of in there almost to just say they did. Like, here you go,
Yeah.
gamers. Here they are. Be happy, sort of deal.
Yeah, and I agree with Scarlet. It feels like that and other parts and segments of the episode were game like moments just thrown in there kind of stuff. But I mean, I guess realizing it's an adaptation and sometimes you got to do that kind of thing. I'm still holding out hope for the other episodes before I overall, the story with all this, because they may bring these guys back hopefully and show more, and it helps the understanding of what we saw. And if they do all that correctly, I'm down. I hope they do.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I'm willing to give the season a chance. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I'm done watching it. I'm tuned. Like, I'm still invested. Like, I still want to see how this season plays out because you never know. We might be, I don't know if people are just jumping to too fast of a conclusion because there's been so many fucked up adaptations that people are just over it. And
That's definitely
I don't,
probably part of it, Dana. That's probably a big part of it. Because it puts you on your guard when you see little change, like not little changes, but certain changes where you're like, all right, is it just for the adaptation, or are y'all doing this to like really Hollywood fuck it up?
Yeah, because they sure can.
Because it sucks. Because like you don't know anymore when, like, I guess we're trying to call it too soon. Like you guys are right, but you never know when it's an agenda and when it's okay. They're just budget. They've got to fit time in. They've got to work these characters in a certain way. These little changes just happen to be, but when they've screwed up so many, and then Hollywood's just so bad about like fucking with us, it's like, damn it, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm weary now just knowing. I'm like, oh shit. Because I was like, okay, I liked the episode. I liked all the emotional stuff, and I didn't mind sort of how they were using Ellie to, kind of sway everybody. Like, okay, she did her thing. I liked how they was using the dude a little bit to kind of back her, because they had that whole little storyline between him and the girls.
Yep.
I mean, that was all cool as long as, but the thing about this, if it's a standalone story, right, then so far I would say most everything I'm pretty good with, except for, of course, how they threw in the randos, because even if it hadn't, not knowing anything about the story, seeing some random group thrown into a TV series, I would want to know more about them, especially if you're showing off, talking about prophets, and we're talking about like just any kind of religious cult kind of things going on. They got all this different stuff going on. Why they have the cuts on their faces, like I would love to dive in more about what this faction or this group is. They don't really give us that. And then when they talk about a prophet, it made me, because I don't, again, if this is a standalone, there's no source material. If I was looking at it from those kind of lenses, my brain would be theory crafting. Oh my God, are they going to be looking for Ellie too? Right? We already had one faction that looked for Ellie. Is Ellie going to be like a prophet or a savior for them as well? Like, is Ellie the prize kind of thing? But this isn't a standalone. This isn't this is whatever it is going to be. So without giving that context, it is kind of, it sucks to not know if they're even going to go any further with this group, right? Because I don't know. Like it's as if they killed them off when they did that attack.
Right. Are there more of them? You don't know anything at this point, anyway.
Yeah, no, this episode did not it didn't bother me. Like, yes, I understand people thought it was slow, people thought it was a filler, but the way the show was going, what else did they expect? It's not the video game. Ellie, like, we couldn't just wake up and Ellie be in Seattle. Like,
No.
how do we explain how she healed? How,
And I
like,
liked that
she,
scene. It showed the PTSD that she felt almost instantly, kind of thing, right? Like she was there for 3 months having to be cleared, not just of the physical, but of the mental that she went through, right? Because that was it. I liked how they showed that. I enjoyed that as far as a TV show aspect. I get it's not like a video game kind of great thrill, but the TV show aspect, I liked how they're continuing with her and the doctor. Now, again, I do have a question about that. She was with the guy that Joel kills, the doctor, right? The Firefly doctor.
yes,
Yeah.
Are
that
they
was her
together?
husband.
Eugene.
Eugene.
I, I believe that is just from the TV show. I don't believe something like this happened in the video game.
No, there was a Eugene, but different, and there wasn't a doctor.
Okay, so I'm confused. There's a little bit of the storyline that has confused me, and it has to do with Ellie and the doctor that got shot that was working on her, and whoever her husband is that supposedly Joel killed. Is that the same person?
No.
Okay, because they've totally confused me in that when I've been watching this. I'm sitting here thinking because it had the Eugene token from the Firefly thing. I thought that was the doctor. So I was totally confused. I thought they said the doctor's name was Eugene. What was the doctor's name?
Possibly. Hold on 1 second. Let me check on that.
Then I don't have a question anymore. I take back my question, but I had to clear that up because I was slightly confused.
No, but Eugene was the one, she was in that place where they were growing weed and she found his old Firefly thing. And she's like, oh, Eugene was a Firefly and all that. He was the one that grew the weed before Joel shot him. And then Joel had to do it to keep her, I guess, going. I don't know if he did it for that reason.
I don't know if they explained it or maybe I missed it somewhere. I don't know, but I thought I watched really good. And I was so... Dr. Jerry Anderson. Okay. I don't know. It was just the way I guess they played the scenes and stuff. Somehow I fucking got it all mixed up because I'm sitting here about to say I was almost thinking that this chick was the mom of Abby and it was about to get real fucking complex. But I refrained. Take it back. My bad. I'm glad I got it cleared up though because I was.
Right. And I don't think the show's told yet, but we're imagining that Eugene got maybe infected and Joel had to put him down.
Okay, because see, I was so confused. I'm like, everybody they keep talking about Eugene, and I'm like, who the fuck is Eugene? And how did he killed him? Like it was this really bad thing. Like I was like, what the fuck? Like, she was like, you didn't have to do it that way. I'm like, well, what the fuck? I was so confused. So that is slightly some of the gripes I do have about the show. There's some plot things that I'm slightly confused about.
One big question I have is, did the guy that found the tendrils in the pipe die in the battle, and do they know about it? Did they find it when they started reconstruction, or is that still an issue?
Right? Did they ever find out about it?
Because we're 3 months.
Is that just going to be a throwaway?
Right.
And you guys are letting me know. Yep, nope, it was not her husband. All right, they were two separate people. Thank you, chat, because I was fucking confused as all get out. Yeah, I knew all that, but for some reason I thought Eugene was the doctor for some reason. I don't know where the fuck I fucked that up at. God bless. Maybe the story's not as easy to follow as I thought. But I did like this moment either way between them, though, because, she did have to talk about it. They talk about the secret again. So I'm assuming I can't tell. Does she know what the fuck Joel did or not? Yeah. They're being very fucking not telling.
Yeah, they haven't yet, but I think there'll be a flashback.
We haven't seen it yet. They kind of
Right.
brushed over that, which if they don't, it's going to piss me off
Because
too.
they haven't shown us yet.
All right,
Yeah,
y'all keep
I
saying
think
because
that's
we ain't
what-
gonna see this shit yet, and we got 4 episodes left. How much more are we gonna have to see? When they gonna show it?
I mean, we've only had 3. We got 4 to go. That's like we got
I
a
know,
lot.
but I do believe
got a
we're
lot
going to
to
get
go.
that flashback scene because I do remember in the main trailer for before the show started, we saw scenes of a moment between Joel and Ellie that actually in the video game happens before he dies. Like it's literally like it. So I don't know if we're going to see it, like you said, as a flashback type of scene. It's like you go through it and then the whole situation happens with Joel. It's not a flashback in the video game. But I think that's when maybe Ellie's going to just like reveal if she knows or not. So because that does get answered in the video game, I just don't know what they're going to do with it here.
Mm-hmm. It just says I can't tell either if Ellie knows that Joel lied. Which is a definite answer. I'm with you. See, Debbie says she knows. All right.
I think she knows too.
Yeah, I think they switched. If you say they maybe swapped time with a couple of things in the game, Abby appeared and killed Joel, and you don't really know what's going on. You didn't get that scene at the beginning that kind of told who they were and where they're going and all about it. You got that later, so you're kind
We
of
got like the
wondering
next
what's
episode.
up. But then they switched that in the show. We got it soon. We know who Abby was. So in the game, we got Joel and her talking about that early, but in the show they're going to push it to a flashback later.
But you know why they did that, right? Or I'm speculating on why they did that, I should say. Because our girl was there. Remember our girl, her little girlfriend? And she needed to know that information so that they could go off and gallivant through without Tommy.
Right.
See how all these little changes just based off of these 2 characters' slightly different involvement, how much they're having to change in order to.
Yeah.
Now, because the more we talk about it, the more I'm seeing it, and the more it's kind of pissing me off. But I'm trying to be like
that Scarlet. She's sharp. You can't get one over on her.
Right? You can't hide nothing from her.
I might ask the question. Look, I'll be quiet. I'll mute. I don't want to ruin it for nobody.
I like it. I like it. It's like
she's got that keen sense of fuckery.
Yeah.
When they fucking with shit now, because I'm starting to notice the more y'all tell me, well, this was supposed to be.
The more we talk about it, the more I'm getting pissed off.
And I wonder why we changed it. Did it have anything to do with this little girl here? Where the hell was she at? Because she's the one that told us all the information about the wolves, right? In this episode.
Yes.
About Abby and who their names were. And
all that comes from Tommy in the game.
Right. So see, all that's a change. See, it's not just a little tiny fucking like blip of a fucking change. This is like we rewriting their whole fucking whatever. Yeah, whatever. It is what it is.
Well, I mean, if you change the characters, of course there'll be several little aspects.
Several. I'm gonna have to start marking these. We're gonna see how many we end up with. What's up, Texas? She wants to get freaky with Dora the Explorer. She good, I guess. The grown-up version, a little bit older version, maybe. I think they do at some point. I mean, they kissed. And she got all pissed off and she was like, "What? Only a 6? What are you talking about? How dare you? I'm such a good kisser." I don't know how she said it like that, but if she did, she got look at her fucking pouty face. But she's still happy though. She's being a little bit of a bitch here. I'm sorry. She's like, all right, they fucking gonna go to sleep and shit, and then she's gonna pretend like she's sleeping. Oh no, I have another question. Can you ask me about my kisses and stuff? And then she's like, oh, why don't you just go back with what was that dude's name she was with before? I forget, the dude back at camp. And she's like, oh,
I think it's
Eric. I already did. I already got back with him. What the fuck are you still trying to back on her to? You being a little bit of a never mind. I know it's the apocalypse.
Jesse, thank you, Jen.
My bad. Yeah, Jesse.
No, that's called confused.
She being mean. This poor girl just lost what is like her daddy figure, and this little tease over here is playing with her every which way possible. Come on. I know y'all to see this shit. Look at that fucking face. And then look at this face here, too. She is fucking playing
she
games.
wanted to get a second and third and maybe fourth opinion from Ellie. Like, what about this one or this one? Or if I do
No,
it
she
this
wants
way.
Ellie, but then she gonna throw up Jesse up in her face. I already got back with him. Yeah.
Well, 3 months. I mean, you know, my girlfriend is in the hospital, so I'm gonna go back to my boyfriend for a couple days here and there, you know. But then
So are they
she
gonna make this like a three-way thing
but
later? I swear to
no,
God, if they bring
no,
Jesse in on this and then they're all like flirting together, because
nah,
Jesse was already acting like he didn't give a shit.
nah, he's out. He's out.
No,
No,
he already didn't
at
give a
least they
shit.
at least they did it in the video game. She chooses Ellie.
They making it
But
like it wasn't much
because
of a
even
choice, but
in
she
this
likes to use
scene,
Jesse as like a
even in
backup.
that, yeah, but in that scene at the end though, she said maybe the problem's me or whatever, you know.
Yeah, she
And
thought he was kind of like a weak ass.
but meaning maybe I like girls and I just won't admit it. And it's causing a problem when I'm with a guy.
Maybe. I don't know. I just know she was playing a little
That's
teasing game there
that's
with Ellie. I mean, yeah, with Ellie
that's
in
what
this
I
scene.
think.
She was being
Oh, great
particular.
cold. He says he says sorry, this show is DED. I'm sorry, guys. Don't shoot the messenger. What makes you think so though? Like what's your honest opinion? Like, do you think it's dead because it's honestly not a good show? Or do you think it's dead because they're gonna fray too far from the source material? Like what makes you say that? I'm just curious. Like I'm curious from everybody. Like what do you guys think? Have you seen the game? What do you guys think up until this point? Do you think that this show has completely jumped the shark and like this is it where it's done for and you know they ruined it? I'm just curious because like I said, I've watched a couple of people, you know, reviews about it, but they were people who've done reviews before that I was okay watching because I was like they're basically just talking about the madness that is going on right now with this show. So it's not like they were talking. And this isn't a show where you could like theory craft. It's just not one of those shows. But it was just interesting to see how there is just like heat coming from both sides, both gamers and non-gamers, who each have a different reason why they're mad at this show right now. And I don't is that gonna be it? Are they just gonna throw in the towel and you know cancel it after this season? Because people are saying the ratings are tanking and people aren't watching anymore. And I don't know.
Well, I don't know. They might still go with one more season because that would be the end anyways. So I
Correct.
mean, we'll see. It's still possible. We'll see because they got to get through this season, right? So who knows what'll happen after the next couple episodes? Maybe they'll get people back into it a little bit more.
Do you
To
guys
get that
think
final.
overall, not just with this show, but just overall, we're getting as a audience as a whole, like even good stuff isn't good anymore? You know, something I don't know. Is it the production? Is it the writing? You know, the special effects on stuff seems to be getting even better. So, you know, what is it that seems to, I
Right?
don't
Are
know.
we so biased because we're now considered reviewers and we literally pick apart and peel layers back that, you
Right.
know, some people just aren't going to do like us like we do. Like I don't know. But it's
Yeah.
like the people who are mad Joel died, like if they were to change that, I think that would have pissed gamers off more than
Even
anything
more.
if
Yeah.
that
Oh yeah.
if that didn't happen because that's what kind of sends Ellie on this next arc, which was part 2 of the video game.
Right.
Like that's the rest of Ellie's story. So I
Mm-hmm.
was really nervous that they were gonna cop out and not do it just to appease the people who became fans of him because he is a well-known person. People love him from certain stuff that we've all seen, you know. So I don't know. Like I'm kind of just trying to stay neutral right now. Like I still I want to see how this plays out before I give my final opinion of whether I think the season was trash.
Yeah. I think you have a part truth though when you say about being a reviewer and peeling back the layers. Like, I never heard grandma do that to Matlock, back in the day. So I think that isn't one aspect to it. We're like detailing it more than it probably should be.
But again, are we just biased because each of us have seen a show that we think Hollywood has destroyed, that we really look forward to? So are we just sitting here like, fuck it? They're probably, like Great Gold said, it's Hollywood. They're probably going to fuck it up. Because we haven't had proof of really anything that anybody has done that we're like, oh, that was awesome.
I know it depends on if you tell me it's turd or try to manipulate me and just hand me the sandwich. And I mean, it's like, I mean,
I love your analogies, James.
Are you tricking me? Are you tricking me? But that's a good one. That's a good one, Worm.
Yes. Yes. I get it, but I want to just see the rest of the season and then give my final thoughts of whether I think it's like I feel like even with The Walking Dead, like it was good, bad, and then the ending just sucked. So I'm trying to be like,
well, here's the thing.
Cross.
Here's the thing. It's always usually not been good, especially like with Game of Thrones. You got it with The Walking Dead, especially when the source material runs out. Shit just goes off a cliff usually, so is like, will season 2 of this, The Last of Us, be like the part 1 of the game and season 3 be part 2, or will they take it past the game and will we run into that same possibility? Or are they just sticking to the game?
From what I've heard, the 3 seasons that they were going to do was supposed to be season 1 was game 1, and then season 2 and 3 was supposed to be game 2, how it was split in half, part 1 and part 2.
Okay. So they shouldn't go past.
That shit could change.
Right.
We've heard stuff like that before and seen Hollywood's fuckery afoot, and they've gone past source material because they've sped through so much. Hence Game of Thrones.
Yeah. We get a post-credit scene. Post-credit scene.
They went through their
Ellie
source
immunity
so fast that now you have these dumb shit writers who think that they know better than the author. And mind you, the author, he ain't working at the speed of light. He's taking a sweet ass time to come out with his book.
Yeah, still
like,
ain't out.
what do you do?
Yeah. And what's going to be worse though is if they rush it, knowing they only gave us 7 episodes, right? Because we get 7, right? 7 or 8.
7.
7. So yeah, if they don't play out, if you're giving yourself only 7 episodes when we normally get in a season for something around 10, and they're trying to say, oh, it's because we split the game in half. Well, but then if you do things like this where you've rushed to Seattle, you've rushed through things when you could have had more time for certain things to play out better or play out differently, because they're saying they kind of combined a lot of things into the last episode that maybe would have played out differently. A little concerning, little red flags. I don't know. But I'm gonna finish it either way. I mean, we're all in now. I've already done a season. I've been taking screenshots on this season. I mean, I'm playing it all the way through the 3rd season.
I'm with you.
Scarlet, just hold it down for me for 1 second. I have to get my mom water.
Yeah,
just
no worries.
Hold it down for me for 1 second. Thank you.
Let's see. Texas says my dumbass has to finish what I started, so I'm gonna keep watching. There's a lot left in the game story. Yeah, I'm gonna keep going either way. But let's see. I did like it. We got them drinking. Where was I at? I was somewhere way the fuck down here. But I did get them. They did the cheers. Where was it? I got it. There it is. Ha. Nice day. Look, you wouldn't even know you're in the apocalypse anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like Ellie's medical attention, and everything. That was real world level.
Right? Like, no, she was hurt pretty good.
So yeah, it's like Abby's group said when they looked down, I thought it was like a little tent thing of tents, but that's a city. They got power and everything.
Yeah, dude, they had all kinds. They got like everything in this town. When you really start looking at what they all have, I mean, they were building it back up, but they had a pretty good amount. They got like every kind of shop you can think of. Look, it's Ace Hardware.
I know, right?
I mean, that's what's up. And I did like this moment. Of course, we got Tommy, who is sort of the elder, and then we got Jesse, who is kind of the up and comer. And you know, he was struggling a little bit to get to hammer it down. But our boy come in, Jesse, and he did no problem. The muscles. They were showing Jesse off in this scene.
Yeah, for sure.
Old man went to shoveling. He kind of smiled.
Yeah,
that scene.
And really, you know why he's really smiling? He's like, haha, I kind of suckered him into
right. He's like, all right, son, you know, you take over. That's right. You go hammer away. I'm gonna go back to this here shovel.
Trick of the trade.
Right. And I don't know what it was about this scene though. It was just almost as if, you know, it was also they're showing Tommy's age, but I don't know if that's really what it was. They're just showing how because Jesse is now part of the council, right? He's sort of stepping in.
Yes.
So almost as if he's taking Tommy's role in a sense. So again, Tommy might be on his way off in the next episode, knowing that this young strapping man here can take his place. I mean, he already showed he knows how to hammer.
He sure does. Show him those muscles.
I know. Look at him, Dana. I was like, ooh, I took a screenshot of it.
Anyway, you know, they did this other thing over here.
Sorry.
And look at that strapping young man.
Click on any other frame, Scarlet. We'll talk about it. Yeah, see, Tommy there.
Tommy wasn't too bad, man. He was showing off that last episode with that flamethrower. I was like, that's what's up.
He was while the motherfuckers ran away. He stood his
brave, and he knew how to use the fire. Data, he was making it hot.
He was.
Are you sure you want to talk about this frame again, James?
Go back to the lesbians in the
I would so like to elaborate further on their strapping men in this show.
Ooh, their use of equipment, Dana.
Right? Ooh, Scarlet. Sorry, babe, if you're still in the chat. Tommy almost made it to my list.
Y'all need to go
here. Look, they were shared. Look, she baked her cookies and they shared the cookies. This was a cute moment too. She had to tell her that she knew stuff. Ellie was gonna be mad. She cried, and Ellie took a cookie. She took one of her cookies, James. Oh, it's so sweet.
Yeah,
and then look, she shared. Ellie gave a cookie back, and she took it. And they had a nice moment over how they're gonna go kill and seek revenge.
Right. And I can completely understand why she withheld the information until she got better.
Same.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. This girl would have clawed her ass out of that fucking infirmary.
Yeah.
She was definitely right about that. She's like, you would have ripped the tubes out of your chest and you never would have healed. And we wouldn't be able to do what we're about to do.
Like, Jesse, look, Vic put us back on it. Jesse, fine as hell. I know, girl. Well, damn muscles.
But then she went right back to she don't want that kind of cookie though.
Yeah, I know she giving us both.
Both sides of the story.
That's right.
Hey, she didn't mind that type of cookie a few months back.
No, she did not.
She was okay with that type of cookie.
They trying to blame it on the weed and the alcohol. You ladies know, you two girls, they'll get there eventually. They'll figure themselves out. Poor Jesse though. He gonna be alone for a little while.
Hey, the doctor's single.
Wait, man, he's still looking good. He ain't even trying to hammer nothing right there. I'm like, damn, son.
Right?
The psych doctor's single.
You want to talk? All right, well, let's go check her out. Let's see. Hell yeah. Look at that. Hell yeah. That's my kind of lady. Get beer.
I just mean for Jesse.
Oh, for Jesse? Maybe. I don't know. He doesn't have weed or beer, though. He's not into those kind of things. I don't think they're going to get along.
No.
I mean, she's got it good. I mean, all the people coming to her for fucking psych eval. She got beer. She got weed. who knows what else she's got stashed up in her house that
Oh,
she
yeah.
took for fucking payment. She's just chilling. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
Vic
got
says
my
she got
beer,
him.
got my smoke.
Vic got Jesse. She said,
Oh,
"Don't worry, she got a place for him to come."
I don't know what y'all doing up in here. What y'all
Oh
talking
shit!
about?
It's a Cosby cookie. Oh no! Oh shit! I hope not.
Jeez.
This conversation went left and right, and now it's steering off into the ditch.
I'm sorry.
No.
Off the cliff we go.
Oh shit!
Off
We
the
scared
cliff
James
we
a little
go.
bit. All right, we'll rein it in. So here, look, she's ready for revenge. She had all the fucking look at this
That's
shit.
funny.
She didn't care about medical supplies, but she had
She
every
had a
fucking kind of
arsenal.
ammunition.
I
Yeah,
think if
ready.
James had access to the pineapple right now, Scarlet, we'd be getting one.
Nah, that's good.
That's why we have control, Dana. That's why we
Yes,
have
we
control.
do.
Whoa! I don't. Vic, what the heck? I ain't even gonna highlight that. I'm scared.
That's funny.
What?
Vic, you're the best.
We may. I'll
No,
let Dana.
but
If Dana chooses to highlight that on her stream, I'll let her do her.
fuck it. I love Vic, so she'll get a highlight. There you
I
go.
mean, you gotta highlight that.
Take what you will.
Oh, that's fine,
Take what
James.
you will
Oh,
from
okay.
that.
Where's your threshold, James?
Well, I didn't even know those emojis existed. Now I'm gonna have to use them myself.
You know, it's the finger and the okay.
So, I'm learning
we,
stuff.
we get you. We get you, Vic. We
Oh,
get
wait.
you.
He said the magic words, Dana.
What?
Put that comment back up there. Yeah, he said, we learn things, Dana. There you go.
We're educational people. We're educational.
There you go.
We're trying to make you proud, Jen the teacher.
Well, she had her arsenal, but her girl came in here and let her know. You just, you're going to go on your uncharted path or your well-charted path somewhere northwest or some shit, she said. Where the fuck are you going to go? I love how she's like, are you alone? Yes. Yeah, Ellie was worried about it. She didn't want to get caught. She knew she was fucked, too. God damn it. She knocked on the door. She said, what the fuck am I going to do with all this shit? I can't hide it.
Yeah, but Dina had it going on.
Oh, yeah. She was ready to go. She had her. She had her in all kind of ways.
I mean, she was smart. Like, even the whole plan, like, what are you gonna do? Pack this, get this? Like, what you gonna do? You fall, you sprain your ankle, you do some dumb shit. Like, what's gonna happen? So at least she was trying to be smart.
Yeah.
How many shows have we seen where people rush out, do something dumb, and end up getting eaten by the bad guy or the monster, or dumb chick running through the woods, tripping over her own 2 feet?
Right.
But I'm not upset with this episode. Like, I get the gripes. Again, I understand everybody. I understand the gripes. I just want to see a little more before I figure out what my gripes are with what.
Okay, then I got a question then. Does he always give her this gun? Was that a Tommy moment later down the line?
I don't remember. Somebody else asked me that question, and I don't remember because none of this happens in the game. Like, we go from one scene to Joel dying, and then it's like almost pretty much the next scene she's in Seattle. So, but I haven't seen it in so long. I could be wrong that this is not from the game, but I don't think this is from the game.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Well, I was just curious because she gets her new shiny weapon, and I was just curious because his whole storyline comes in because of these two, like his whole sort of deal with Ellie.
Well, I think there is a character like that somewhere in the game. There's some lady that says something to Ellie about it. I don't know if it's plays like they built it up in the show. It seems like, but I'd have to rewatch the gameplay. It seems like there was like a guy like that maybe said something, but I don't know if
Yes,
it played
and
out with
what
the
Great
rifle.
Gold is saying with the second video game, it was hated too. It killed people didn't like the fact that through some of the second game, you played as Abby. So you jumped back and forth from playing Abby and playing Ellie. So people were not happy that they were forced to play Abby in the video games.
Mm.
Because you get to kind of see her side of it and like
Yeah.
how she gets to the end moment and then how Ellie gets to the end moment. And I
Mm-hmm.
forget, I don't know if you kind of went back and forth between them in the end, but people did not like playing like Abby, playing as Abby. Like they were like, why the fuck you have us playing as the person who killed Joel? Like, what the fuck? What are
Yeah.
you guys doing? Like that bothered a lot of game people. I
Hmm.
didn't play the game, I only watched the story. So I don't know. Like it confused me when I was watching it. To tell you the truth, I was like, why are we like why do they have them playing like Abby? But I I I don't know. It was just that was a big turnoff to a lot of people that they were forced to play as Abby in the second video
Mm. Okay.
game. Like, how
Huh.
dare you make me play as the villain? Like people just were pissed.
I would have been. I don't feel like I would have had a problem with that because I mean, you do that in games sometimes where you go between characters. I mean, why not be the villain a little bit? Fun. It's gonna make me want to play the game a little bit more.
Yes, people were upset about that, but they got over it. Like, because they understood that that was like people were mad that they killed Joel too, like because they thought they'd be playing as Joel. But there was more gripes about having to play as Abby than there was about them killing Joel. People did not like playing as Abby.
What y'all feel about this guy and his peace loving? When we get to
That's
that
just a living fucking
conversation,
apocalypse.
James, that you brought up, and I think everybody asked us one of those questions in one of your videos about kind of like how you would approach when people kind of come into your society, but also if they wrong you, like how do you deal with these things as a group or even as an individual during an apocalypse? Like their whole thing is like, yeah, we're going to vote on it. But this guy's very much so like, he's peace loving. He was kind of
Yeah.
getting the townsfolk kind of on board there for a minute. I
Yeah.
wanted
You
him to
got all
shut up.
kinds. You got all kinds, I guess, in a group that large.
I definitely felt that next moment where our dude just kind of tells him shut the fuck up a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. In
Yeah,
this
seriously.
situation. Yeah. In
I'm
this
just
situation.
because I felt him at the end when he said, and they come back laughing at you. Gonna be
Yeah.
that's on y'all. I felt
Yeah.
that. I was like, yes, tell them. Like, look, I ain't saying y'all got to go hunt them down for real, all fucking 16 people that they had, but you might want to consider doing something.
Right. You just, you almost got to be like that in the real world. In an apocalyptic setting, it's a must almost. It's hard to see otherwise.
Right? We ride at midnight, says Vic.
That's right,
Oh
Vic.
yeah. And I wouldn't have seen the different thing that I would have done in this situation. I wouldn't have made it like, do we send 16 people out to do that? I would have been like, are there any volunteers? Because Ellie was going. You like, come on. She was going no matter what she spewed at this meeting and tried to do. Like, even when the doctor was like, they were talking about a liar and somebody who just lies and, or like, you knew Ellie was going. So I would have been like, does anybody volunteer to go with her?
Right.
And make it the individual's choice compared to we're sending 16 people with her to go do this.
Right. But, you could look at it a lot of different ways in the aspect of even if they sent 5, they're in a vulnerable moment of the town. And do you risk the people of the town, protection for the people of the town, for vengeance at the moment? And, you know,
Well,
that's
that's why you
something.
give it up to them to make that decision for yourself. Because if you're a free town, you should be somewhat free to come and go to a degree.
Right. But even if it's at the sake of the other townspeople, possibly, it kind of comes down to almost like the trolley problem of, do you risk a lot of people to save just a couple or one or two or
But do you
three?
stop them? Because once you've
Yeah.
told those people they can't go out, now you have a restriction. That how is that going to, like, how are people going to feel about that, right?
Right,
Like,
right.
I'll be
And
like,
I
wait a
wouldn't see it.
minute now. I mean, I get we're sort of like a compound
Right.
here and shit, but the fuck?
Right. I wouldn't see it as a like a council decision that would force them. You'll be arrested if you don't, or anything like that. I think it would be more of a moral thing. Like, okay, think of yourself or those two or three people versus the town, and you make that decision and live with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You definitely can I definitely would put it up to, I mean, they put it up to a vote, which I get because that's kind of the way they're trying to make
How
the
would you guys
town.
have voted? Would you guys have voted yay or nay? And what
Oh, I
about
would have
you,
voted
chat?
yay.
What would you guys have voted yes or no? I think I would have voted yes too myself.
Yeah.
I
What
would
I
have
about you?
mean,
voted yes.
I guess I would, if I thought the town was safe. If not, I would at least try to renegotiate. Like, we can do 8, but 16 would be tough right now, or something like that.
Yeah, the number was a little high, I
And
thought.
not just a straight up no. I would try to probably, depending on what the situation, we don't know all the details. We know they just got overrun and they're rebuilding. It's been 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, they did have a high number though, for how many they were gonna send out. But then again, now what Abby, I mean not Abby, but what Ellie has found, the group looked a little more dangerous than they thought. They could come back and fuck up some more shit if they so chose.
Yeah, I don't think they at this point they don't realize it's an army. Like I don't think they haven't grasped that yet. So like that's why I think they showed us as viewers the wolves kind of marching.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is what they're going after.
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is gonna be it's gonna be interesting to see how this shit plays out.
So one thing that I did on my channel, just a few videos, was like a little theater type thing where I was part of a community, and they were getting a radio network up between all the communities and talking and stuff like that via radio. It'd be interesting to know, is Jackson the only place? Are they even talking to anybody else? Would they have heard of the wolves, and why not? Is there any type of network like that, a trade network, anything going on like that? Those details would be kind of cool. Because it kind of sounds like they don't know. They've never heard of the wolves.
Right. They definitely could have done some more research or something. I mean, I don't know. Just a no was the right answer. Again, all this was stuff that they threw into the show, so it's interesting to speculate on, because essentially it doesn't matter anyway. She's going to end up leaving by herself, which is what she was going to end up doing. Well, not by herself, but she's, her and the girl's going to end up leaving. I'm assuming maybe Tommy's going to come around, maybe. I don't know. Otherwise, I don't see how those two are going to make their way. I don't know how these two females are going to like out battle an army. I don't know how that's supposed to work out.
Let's say they go ninja tactics and all they want to do is take out the few people that killed Joel. And they're not there to take down the wolves, just a few people.
Yeah,
and
but I mean, you got to make it to them. We'll see.
I mean,
I'm curious to see how these ladies going to figure it out.
Karate.
Hoorah!
Right. So it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, I mean my timeline was just filled with just hate on this show right now. And I'm like, geez, I just think so much stuff has been destroyed that I don't think people are giving things a chance anymore. They're just automatically like they're gonna fuck it up. They're gonna fuck it up because literally, can anybody name one adaptation that anybody is happy about?
Not a lot.
I
And
think so far, Fallout, from what I understand, is doing okay.
Yeah. Because usually
Fallout.
I'm a bad judgment. Usually in situations like this, I'm like, let's just wait and see. But usually the people who already called it correctly. Like, yep, they saw it coming, and I just didn't.
You want to hold out for it, right?
I
Like
just
you have to
didn't accept it.
And I did that with Halo. The first season, I didn't want to believe it. I was like, man, they fucked up. But I was like, nah, look, man, they had to do it for TV. They got to give, for whatever bullshit, they got to give him a face. But they put him back in a helmet. They gave him Cortana. We're good. Like, season 2, we're going to come back strong, right? Like, it's going to be good, full-on game stuff. We're not going to worry about this other bullshit, right? They fucking took everything away from his ass. Oh, my God, what in the fuck? So, yeah. I'm definitely weary if they, we'll see. They're going to have to throw Tommy in very quickly. Otherwise, you'll know right off the bat. Because if he's not back in at least next 2 episodes, how the fuck is he going to get to Seattle? Because he's got to travel. They're already ahead of him. He was supposed to be ahead of them, right? Yes, so he's going to get there just in time to save them, I'm assuming, if they get caught or something happens. He's going to be kind of there to maybe help them or rescue them or some shit.
That's what I'm thinking, and that's what I if they don't, then they completely just trashed Tommy in this whole.
And they're gonna, instead of having Tommy there like Joel was, sort of, not that the girls aren't badass in their own right, but they're trying to make them super badass. You know how that's gonna roll over. Because I'm even gonna be like, that shit ain't realistic. They're gonna have to throw in a lot of bullshit in order for the girls to overcome that by themselves. I mean, that's just realistic. It's not even just the fact they're female, but they're young females at that. Like, they've got training, but Ellie's just off of a major injury. And even though, she did a little bit of push-ups and stuff, and the guy said that he was impressed, she still was not where she was before she got injured, right?
Oh, absolutely. And all it's going to take is one good jab in her, right lung side, and she's going to be out for the count. So, and I agree with you, Great Gold. I do. He says, I don't blame them, Dana. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. Hollywood has to earn our trust, not vice versa. I completely agree with that. But from what we've seen, Hollywood doesn't give a shit. They're just going to make their shit and do it how they want and not take into any. Because I mean, if you could see how upset the fandom is just of Lord of the Rings, because that universe, the Tolkien universe, when I tell you they go deeper than the Game of Thrones people, than that fandom, than the Walking Dead fandom. They are they are not happy with what they did with the Lord of the Rings series. And it's just I just if you could take such a treasured book like that and a popular book like that and say, fuck it, we don't give a shit, I don't think there's hope for anything. But I'm just kind of hopeful that maybe with whatever The Last of Us does, that we still at least get a good show. Because we can still have a bad adaptation, but have a good show. And that's what I'm kind of hoping for, that they don't fuck up the adaptation so much and fuck up the show so much that we could still at least be like, all right, it wasn't bad. It was okay. Because if they can do that, then at least we're getting a decent show.
Yeah, maybe there'll be a decent audience for season 3.
We'll have to wait and see what they do with it. Like I said, I don't know. We'll see. It doesn't bother me that they added in this part in order to get Ellie from her injury to her send off to get her to Seattle. To have to throw in some filler with character, so to speak, in order, because it's a TV show. Like, that aspect doesn't bother me. we'll see, because what kills me about it is how they knowing now what y'all are telling me about Tommy's character. When I go back and think about the episode and how they teased him so much throughout this episode, like there's little moments, these moments here where like you could tell he's really wanting. There was one, I think I didn't get the screenshot, where he's looking over at the council, even like trying to, like almost as if he's trying to like visually nudge them, like looking at them, like y'all vote the right way, like he's
after the vote. Yep.
And he's this whole time sort of supporting Ellie, even this moment here where he's getting in her shit a little bit, and and they hug and everything, to know that like this was supposed to be more than what it was. That is slightly, it is a little disappointing.
But that's what these moments are for. The way I see it is more, okay, we didn't get this or this, and they rearranged it, but they still are giving us some of that.
Even this was the whole
leading up to what's going to probably happen next episode. We see that Tommy does go after her.
Because even this moment, sort of, it's all about him and Ellie and how he's trying to figure out what to do to help her. But he's supposed to be in the mindset of wanting that revenge with her, where he's in the mindset of law and order.
Right.
Which seems to not be what his character is supposed to be. And that's what I mean when I'm saying like what the character's like core essence is, right? Like what they're sort of about. Those changes can matter to people who already have a character set in their mind. That can suck. Now, as far as if I hadn't known any of that and I'm watching and I'm saying, okay, well, it's okay so far. These shows aren't my cup of tea to begin with, but for what it is, it is what it is. We're getting our character development. It's following the same track as what I would expect from a zombie TV series.
Yeah, and the fact that he wasn't at the death scene, the game, Tommy saw their faces and knows Abby because they were helping her escape. Actually, it kind of happened the same way in the TV show, how they met, beforehand, and Abby took them to that house and stuff. So Tommy had a more personal investment. If that's not a real good way to say it, but like he saw their faces and stuff. So Ellie was there also in the game, kind of like she was, I think, being held down. So she saw some stuff too. So in the TV show though, Tommy didn't see their faces or anything. So just little details. I could see where they're going with this if they keep going in the direction where he does right out after her.
Yeah, Vic, can you drop the link to James's channel, please, for Great Gold?
If not, I would
appreciate
getting it myself.
Oh, were you? I just saw him ask for it. I mean,
I'm getting there.
Listen, we have seen some fucked up shows as of late, so I'm just holding out hope that this is gonna pull through, and hopefully they're gonna get back on track and bring Tommy back in, and they just did it this way to make like I don't know. I'm just trying to be hopeful because so much stuff has been ruined that I'm just trying to have faith.
Yeah, it's hard to see this chick right here. It's hard to see how her story will play out other than maybe we get a flashback with Joel killing Eugene, and we get that story. But it's almost like some things are just maybe not going to get answered. Like she knows about the secret, but she don't know what the secret is. And will she find out Ellie's immune? That just seems unlikely. So will she find out Joel killed the Fireflies and that's why they came and killed him? And, does she understand that reasoning? And that was the secret Joel was keeping. Will that ever come to light? Will Tommy tell her? Some things are like almost seem filler that won't even maybe get answered, but maybe they will, and I hope they will. But
right, and some of it seemed like filler, like they're just trying to add some more characters in order to have a little more depth to the story. but I can't tell. Like, it's hard to tell right now, like, where they're going with it or how they're going to go about it with the changes. I think what. Oh, speaking of when she's in this stage now, which they're not supposed to know that she's been infected, right? But doesn't she have this scar that's like noticeable, or is that just something that only certain people know? She got tattooed over, so they're not going to notice.
And she took a knife and cut up the other one to make it look like a wound instead of a bite.
Okay.
The one she got from the stalker.
Because she seemed like she was still covering up her arms at one point, so I couldn't tell if she was like good on that or not.
Yeah, I think the tattoo may be hiding it at this point, but she was keeping it under wraps beforehand, because they even when Joel was telling Tommy about it in that little shop in season 1, he said, Joel said, I'm afraid somebody will see that on her arm and know and kill her right there on the spot.
Right. That's why I was curious. I was like, I knew she had the tattoos, but I didn't know if it covered it or not. I was like, well, fuck, did they find out? Like, are we just not supposed to just ask that question? I'm asking them questions again. God damn it.
And I don't remember if in the game if she tells Dina. I don't remember. I'm thinking she tells Dina at some point that she is immune.
She does.
She does. I don't remember.
Yeah, if I remember right, in the gameplay, it was a spores thing.
And like she saw that Ellie could like breathe it in, or
yeah, and she was like, "Oh my God, you breathed it in," and she was going to take off her mask, and Ellie was like, "No, I'm immune. Don't take your mask off." And the other girl was like, not believing her at first, but then, it all came out or whatever at that point. If I remember right, it was a spores thing, so that may be kind of how they introduced the spores in this season. And how Dina finds out or whatever. That could be this very similar.
Yeah. I mean, we have 4 episodes left. I mean, we'll see where they take it. And we've been getting decent like episodes lengthwise. I think they've all been very close to an hour. Or 50 minutes. They haven't been short episodes. They've been pretty decent time, like, episodes.
Yeah.
So we'll see, and there's still a lot of story left to tell from the game. So we could see, but as of now, what would you rate this week's episode from, in our normal ratings? And what about you, chat? What would you give this episode? What about you, Scarlet? What would you give this week's episode?
Overall, before I knew any of the things that I know now, I was probably going to give it at least a 7.5, just because I liked a lot of the moments as far as with Ellie. I didn't think they were bad. Her moments alone, and how she felt, and then just sort of her going back to the grave. I don't know. It wasn't a horrible episode. But now I'm so 7. Fuck it, I'm gonna have to go with a 7 now. Shit.
Okay. And what about you, James?
As far as episodes, it could go as low as a 7 or 7.5, but I'm gonna maybe even give it an 8, just because it's continuing the story, and so far I'm not hanging on anything as far as negative. I'm like giving hope that it'll play out in future episodes. And as far as the overall story, to me, it continued that, and I could see where that sped up with her getting to Seattle. Some things you can play out. Tommy standing there over Joel's dead body and talking for a few minutes, that's heartbreaking stuff. Let that play out. And if you have to speed up getting to Seattle, cool. I understand those type of things. And I'm just giving some hope for the next 4 episodes. So I give it an 8.
Nice. We got a 6 from Jen. We got a meh.
Meh.
From Debbie. Grey Gold's giving it the finger. We got a 9 out of 100. You trolling. Texas.
No, it's understandable. Oh, Vic's
Oh,
at
we
a
got
5.
oh.
I'm with you, Scarlett. I'm around a 7. I wasn't like, oh my God, this episode was great. I didn't hate it. Like I understood it. Like like I understood what seeing Tommy with Joel's body and when Ellie in the hospital. And like I feel like you needed this setup. You couldn't just like all of a sudden cut scene, screen goes to black, wake up, and Ellie's like in Seattle. How do you explain that?
Mm-hmm.
Like I still feel like we needed this episode to kind of recover a little bit. Like this is what they would have to go through we're seeing them rebuild after that, horrible attack and
Right.
what a town like this might do and vote for what they should do and so to me this felt more I could see this in real life. And I get it's fantasy, like we're not in an apocalypse, but like I understood, like they were still trying to be civilized, like about the situation, and still try to have something in such a fucked up world. So like I understood it.
It was sad here too. We should cry.
I know, and people hate on her in this show that she's such. I think she does okay. She does okay as Ellie. Like I don't think she's horrible.
I think when she got
But
kicked, it
yeah.
wasn't like just in the stomach, it was more like the ribs they were trying to make it, and she probably punctured a lung or something. Because that's
Yeah, it
why she
looked like
kind
they
of
were
crawled the
draining
way she
fluid.
did. It seemed as if they like she possibly had some kind of internal bleeding or something, a fractured rib or something like
Yeah,
that when he
especially
kicked
if
her.
like yeah, like it looked like her lung collapsed and like that was almost to help her breathe or like draining the fluid like like fluid was in her lung because if you crack a rib and it punctures the lung, yeah, you're in the hospital for a few months. And
Now,
that's
I don't
a
know if that's
regular day.
exactly what I'm just assuming that's what they were going with the way they made it because it looked like they had her ribs and chest taped up or wrapped up, and then the tube made me think like she had some kind of possibly punctured lung, which was weird because I don't know how she would have made it back all the way with a punctured lung like that. But again, I'm not a doctor. Fuck about it. We're not
Right?
supposed to worry about the movie magic details.
No, we're not. Right? It's not up to us.
Yeah,
But
because I
yeah,
mean,
just
because we saw what happened
we'll
with the
see.
punctured lung and from they had or whatever the gunshot wound. No, he got stabbed. That's right. But did he get punctured too? Didn't he have blood and didn't?
Yeah, I think they had to drain blood from his lung.
And he didn't make it too long. So I don't know how Ellie made it all the way back to camp with a punctured lung. Damn it! I'm asking them questions again. Fuck.
It's okay. Like it's understandable. Are we gonna chalk it up to movie magic? How
Possibly.
many other things have we done that for?
You know, like I said, I didn't hate the episode or anything like that. A few moments that weren't as great as others, but again, like you said, Dana, I didn't expect much out of this episode as far as an episode goes because of the fact that we just had that crazy one last week. And she had the snow to keep her warm. Well, what the hell does that have to do with her fucking lung? And I already know the snow ain't gonna keep her warm. I'm aware, Texas, but I'm just gonna let you go with your logic here. What the fuck you trolling right now? But how the fuck what does the snow got to do with it, and her being warm got to do with her punctured lung? I'm still confused.
Obviously, because she has another lung.
And they work together in conjunction with each other.
Texas, we're gonna need you to further elaborate on that comment. But no, I thought this was a good episode. And feel free if anybody does have like access to the trailer, feel free to throw it up in the Discords, because I unfortunately will not play the trailer.
You know, they didn't like it when we played it. They said,
Nope,
hell to the
HBO
no.
got very angry. They screamed and yelled at me something fierce.
And they said, nope, no go.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
it'd be
something.
Not even
great.
2 seconds.
You missed it. I started the Sea of Thieves today. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't think I saved anything. I did get lots of booty. I killed a couple dead pirates. I may or may not on my way out have basically crashed my ship. But it's all good. We're learning.
You killed dead pirates?
But I damn sure did. I stabbed them. I got their fucking skull and shit whispers to me on my boat. I killed them with my sword and my gun. I may or may not have gotten bit by a snake.
What?
Yeah.
That's bullshit. That was the game, you piece of shit. Yeah, apparently the game is it's fucking wild as shit. Like, so when you go to sleep, I got drunk as fuck on the ship too. I don't know. Apparently you get drunk. Hey, I got shit face on the ship. I threw up all over my bed. I passed out. Eventually, I mean, I couldn't make it to the bed. I kept kind of like falling all over the place. Eventually, I was able to get close to bed and press the key and like go to sleep. And while you're sleeping, if you stay asleep, you snore, and apparently you pass gas as well.
Realism at its best. We've but anybody out there who knows that does happen when you fall asleep. We've witnessed it.
I just couldn't believe it in the game. I was like, holy shit. That shit was funny.
It was. But I'm glad you like that game, because Angel's been dying to play it. So
yeah, we definitely need a crew, because I can't drive a ship and all that shit by myself. That was hard. Like I said, we may or may not have fucked up the whole. Look, it's a hell of trying to steer, and then you got to fucking drop anchor and to sail all on your fucking own. That shit wasn't easy. I learned I'm not a very good pirate by myself.
Are you second guessing your pirate part, Scarlet?
Well, no, not the card, because it's on land, and I can steer that through magical capabilities. I didn't have no magic capabilities or anything. This is a real pirate ship, Dana, and you got to actually like lift the sail and shit.
Jeez.
Like, you know, I got to steer this little bit. Like, if I'm trying to shoot somebody with a cannonball, I've got to like anchor that shit or something. Otherwise, I can't steer and fucking do the cannons at the same time. That shit don't work.
Just watch what Jack Sparrow did in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Nice. Yeah, I tried. He's crashed. You know what? I'm on par with Jack Sparrow and the ship that he doesn't have anymore. I think he crashed a few too, maybe.
Yeah, true.
There you go. No, but I've been so out of it this week. I've been so out of it this week. I know we have the art contest still going on. I know, James, I was maybe thinking next Saturday, if you want, since we're going back to The Last of Us on Thursdays, if you want to do a Dead City stream, we could certainly, since the episode's dropping tomorrow, right?
Yep, first episode tomorrow. Yeah,
if
just let me know.
For it, we could talk a little bit of Walking Dead. I know, Scarlet, you don't watch the show.
I have not seen it.
If you'd like to dabble.
I have not watched it yet.
And to be honest with you, you don't need to watch the whole series of The Walking Dead to kind of follow this show. Like you basically just need to know that, like, a little bit of the backstory between Negan and Maggie, and you could watch the show. You don't have to watch the entire Walking Dead series to get it. At least in my opinion. I don't know. What do you think, James? I don't think somebody has to watch everything of The Walking Dead to be able to watch this spinoff.
No. I think that's kind of part of the way they're making it kind of its own thing.
Yeah, so I think we'll talk some Dead City. And I know James said you wanted to do a video on it, which I'm always down to talk some Dead City with you and Walking Dead.
Yeah. We need to just schedule it in.
Right? As when I take my nurse's cap off and I get to put that away finally, I can get back to doing fun online stuff again.
Yay.
Right? So fingers crossed, throw the salt, knock on wood, all that good stuff. But yeah, but this is an awesome conversation. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this episode and this Last of Us ride. And I look forward to the rest of the season. And any final thoughts before we close it out here?
I'm with you, Great Gold. Yes, we are going to kill all them scallywags and we're going to get all the booty.
Thank you guys so very much. And I appreciate everybody reaching out to me asking about my mom. She loves you guys and she is ready to come back with us once From comes back. She's itching. She's itching at the to talk about something. So Mama Susie will be back to do some discussions with us in the future. And I appreciate everybody who reached out and asked me how she was doing.
What they do to Risey? God damn it, YouTube. Did you strike him down? Did they strike him down? What did he do? What did he play?
Oh no.
Was it Fortnite? Because I got hit with some copyright shit today too. Fucking Fortnite yesterday. These pieces of shit YouTube. I mean, I didn't get hit for anything bad, but it let me know. Sons of bitches.
For Fortnite?
Because it's we play the damn emotes and the music on that shit, and they just fucking hit you with copyright stuff. But it's like the little one that doesn't strike you or nothing, but it fucking lets you monetize. Piece of shit.
Oh geez, I would have figured Risey would have gotten hit for when he sits there and just plays his videos.
That's possible too.
Fuck. Doesn't give a fuck. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And yes, we will be back. D&D is coming soon, so everybody get ready. We're gonna be doing some D&D very, very soon. I'm hoping around my birthday at the end of the month. We're gonna do a big old D&D bash, and we're gonna do a live stream probably with the table and the players, just to start letting you guys introduce your characters, talk about your characters, because a lot has changed. We're going through some big changes for the D&D. So get ready, guys. We have a lot of stuff in the works, but thank you guys. And until the next one, see you guys later.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Yeah, great. Go hit me up in Discord. I'm going to be playing tomorrow, later tonight. We love you guys. See you later.